Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Safe Zone podcast. I am Brittney. I'm a mental health guidance specialist and I'm also a meditation guide. I have been within the mental health field for the past 8 years. I have lots and lots of private clients. I also host a couple guided meditations. And as of this year, I am doing this podcast. Why I'm doing this podcast? What are you all here for in this safe zone? Every episode, you are going to learn something. You're going to learn something about life, something about psychology, something about mental health, something about yourself and maybe even other people. Hopefully, after every episode, you walk away a little bit more equipped to handle what life has out there. Episode 8, Memento Mori, in brackets, Stoicism. What is Memento Mori? In a very short nutshell, because of course we're going to go in depth into it within the episode, Memento Mori is a recommendation that every day you should frequently contemplate your mortality. Nobody wants to talk about death. It's the most taboo topic. Nobody wants to think about it. Nobody wants to talk about it. But a lot of intelligent minds say that if you actually recall this reality and sit in that disturbance, you're going to end up making choices and living a life that you are a lot more at peace with. So that's why I think it's important to talk about it. 3 main reasons why I chose this as an episode. First, my own personal reflections. This past month has been very introspective and I've gone really deep with it. What if this is my last drive home? Am I going to take my time? Am I going to enjoy the scenery? What if this is my last conversation with this person? What if this is my last year? My grandmother died when she was 61. So if I happen to have the same timeline as her, I am halfway through, over the half mark. Yeah, it hit the front, huh? Think about someone that you lost in your life and then compare your duration of life against their entirety of their life. And it hits different. So, because of my own personal reflections, I threw in this episode. A lot of times I have topics planned ahead, and this was not one planned ahead. This was one solely based on my own deep reflections. Number 2, I also chose this episode because I noticed how much people don't know this term and how much people has never come across Stoicism. When I mention it to private clients or I mention it in conversations with friends or strangers, there are the people that are like, yeah, I've heard this term before, or I've heard this before, tell me about it. But there are a lot of people that are like, I've never heard about that. What is Stoicism? And I think it's such a useful philosophy. And just because clearly there's a lack of awareness and knowledge in society of it, I think I want to do my part in just bringing awareness of this term and this whole concept, all the concepts under Stoicism. And third reason why I wanted to do Memento Mori as an episode, today's society is designed to help us hold down the fast forward button. We spend hours and hours and hours behind our devices. Go and look into your phone. Almost all devices now, you can go and check your screen usage and see how much hours you clock on your phone every single day. We are in a society that consistently pushes us to achieve the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. We get frustrated when our laptop lags or our phone lags. We cannot stand having to wait to hear a story. Everything is fast paced and we are intentionally, whether we know it or not, but we are making decisions and living a life and daily routine that helps us just whoosh through life. So because of how society is set up and the things that take a human away from actually enjoying the beauty and special experience of being a human and the small experience, the little oomph of an experience we get. Because of how society is set up, I think, again, I want to do my part to just kind of throw some seeds out there. Whatever fertile soil it falls into, whoever mind decides to take it up and run with it, more goodness for my soul, more goodness for your soul, and then hopefully you take this awareness and share with someone else. So that's why I wanted to talk about Memento Mori today. You are to expect within this episode, we're going to start off first talking a little bit as to what is Stoicism. Then we're going to go into what is Memento Mori. We are also going to go through a couple points just from my perspective as to how, or not how, but why using Memento Mori in your day-to-day life. Why it's useful? What's the point of it? Why should I apply it to my life? I'm also going to give you all some recommended sources for like books to read, or I don't know if they're an audiobook. I feel like everything is an audiobook now. So you can either read it or listen to it. That teaches you more and more under the Stoicism umbrella. And of course, in every episode, I always want to leave you all with tips. So I'm going to give you all some tips as to how to apply Memento Mori to your life. Yeah. At the end, I always give you all some journal prompts or home assignments, stuff that you all could work on within between episodes. So you're going to get that as well. And if you've been here before, as you heard in the beginning, I'm a meditation guide. So I cannot help but offer you all a little pocket of mindfulness. So at the end, we are going to do a little mini meditation, have a little mindful moment, just to help you all slow the mind, calm the body, and go on from this episode with a little bit more peace. Yeah? So let's get into it. So you all are going to see me looking at my book more than ever before because I have so much written. And there are a lot of things that I have to quote word for word. Also addressing the elephant in the room, not really elephant in the room. You know, like those situations where everybody thinks, like I think you all are noticing something, but you really aren't. But until I draw your attention to it, then you're actually going to notice it. I'm holding a phone again because last episode I mentioned holding this phone because my mic died. I don't know what to say. My mic it just had enough of me. It had enough of me. Would have loved to have another mic by this episode, but that's just not how life went. Y'all, the death of my mic was the beginning of a month of devices. It started with my mic, 2 earphones, my Bluetooth speaker, my laptop charger, my laptop. I'm sure I'm missing something else in the mix there. Y'all, it was a month. So no, I did not get another mic because I had to prioritize getting a whole other laptop because your girl can't work without it. Yeah? How are you all supposed to get your podcast episodes? How am I supposed to meet with my online clients? How am I supposed to do presentations, you know? A girl gotta work. So anyway, that's why I have a phone. So for those on YouTube that are looking at me, I'm holding a phone. Don't mind that. We had to do what we had to do. Okay, so we are going to start off first with what is Stoicism. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that finds its roots in Rome and Greek. The word Stoic translates and ties in with the Greek word stoa. Now, I'm putting a disclaimer. And let me put this disclaimer out one time. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce all of these words correctly, but I am going to try my best, okay? So if I pronounce anybody's name or a particular word incorrectly, giggle bly, I'm just trying to help out here, okay? I am not a literature teacher, nor am I an English teacher, okay? All right. So, Stoic pulls from the Greek word stoa, S-T-O-A. And stoa translates to porch. And it was on a porch where the first person that introduced Stoicism would have taught his students. Isn't that interesting? I know, I even learned that when I was researching for this episode. Like, I know about Stoicism a long time now, but I found that was very cool to learn. That was something new I learned. So, it comes from the translation of porch because it was on a porch where this founder, we're going to talk about the founder just now, where he would have taught his students and also hosted open lectures where anybody could come and sit and listen to what he was sharing. And that's where the term came from. Okay, so the founder of Stoicism is a guy named Zeno. Zeno was a very rich merchant that had a shipwreck, and where he landed after his shipwreck, he stayed there and discovered this philosophy and then founded his school of Stoicism, right? So This happened at Athens. In Athens, this is where he shipwrecked, and this is where it all started, where this whole Stoicism started. So you don't often hear about Zeno because there were much more known Stoics that contributed to Stoicism. So I'm just mentioning Zeno because he was the big dog, he was number one. But the three main philosophers that Stoicism is based off of is one, Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor. But the main people that contributed to Stoicism and the names that you are going to find under Stoicism are three key names. So in a nutshell, before we get into these names, Stoicism is a combination of writings of very intelligent rulers, leaders, teachers, lecturers, etc. They kept private journals or wrote letters, and these letters and journals were now compiled and used as the foundation of literature behind this philosophy. Yeah, so this philosophy again is based on very influential emperors and teachers and merchants, etc. A long time ago. And this is why I always encourage you all to journal. Who knows if your journal might be this intelligent, intellectual piece of literature when you go on. Don't doubt yourself. Anyway, so first key person that contributed to Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor, and it was his private journals that created his contribution, right? So Marcus Aurelius, number one, a Roman emperor, and it was his contribution through private journals. Number two, Epictetus. Now, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name right, but you know that disclaimer. That's how I pronounce it, right? I could be wrong. Epictetus was born into slavery, so he was originally a slave, and then he got out of it and became a very influential teacher. He was also a very good friend of an emperor. Yeah, so that was his main backing behind his education, and his lecturers form his contribution. So Marcus Aurelius' private journals, Epictetus' lectures, and Seneca. Seneca was a very famous playwright and political advisor, and it was his private letters that he would have sent out that formed his contribution to Stoicism. Yeah, so Stoicism, key main people, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca. Stoicism is a philosophy that if you follow this philosophy, you are in setting up yourself to gain a lot of wisdom. It's a very good road and guideline for self-development. It creates stamina or perseverance within the human in this human life. It promotes a lot of good life principles that help you go through the challenges. Yeah, so even back then, they realized that life is very stressful. Life is very stressful, and these would have been the philosophies or ways of life and perspectives that helped them do what they had to do as these very influential and educated people, right? So we're taking their philosophies and applying it to our life. They say that through Stoicism, you can achieve highest levels of happiness. Now, within Stoicism, they use the word eudaimonia. Now, other words that are synonymous to eudaimonia is equanimity, dispassion, self-actualization. All of these words kind of cover, and there are many more other words that cover this concept of like, what is the pinnacle of a human? What is a human living in its greatest joy, in its happiest place? Maybe not happy, but joy, like just in a space where you're at peace, you're at calm, you're aligned, you're fulfilled, etc. And they say one way to do that is by practicing and applying Stoicism to your life. Okay, so that's what Stoicism is. It is a collection of private journals, letters, as well as lectures from very intelligent minds that were Roman emperors, teachers, political advisors, and it was founded from a guy named Zeno after a shipwreck. So, yeah, these people were sprinkled across Rome as well as Greece. Okay, so that's what Stoicism is. Now, what is Memento Mori? Memento Mori translates in Latin to remember you will die. Very intense. Okay, as I said, Memento Mori, my perspective, is the principle of remembering that I am going to die. You are going to die. Everybody I love one day will die, and everyone you love one day will die. A very intense feeling. But if you contemplate this often, if when you think about your loved one, when you think about, oh my God, if this person dies, I don't know what I will do. If you sit with that discomfort long enough, you might actually call them, or you might actually go and visit them, or you might actually express your feelings towards them. You will leave nothing unsaid, nothing undone. If you also use this perspective, you reach into the office one day and somebody bad talking you, and you are sitting there spending the next 2 hours thinking about what they're saying, who they're saying, what people thinking about it. Oh my. And you stop and think, if this is my last day on earth, does it even matter? Is this what I want to spend my last day thinking about and doing? So it kind of helps you refocus. Okay, so a couple quotes that form this basis of this one of their key philosophies under Stoicism being Memento Mori. A couple of them. Socrates, his quote is, "Philosophy is about nothing else but dying and being dead." Promotes Memento Mori. Marcus Aurelius, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, what you say, and what you think." Number 3, Seneca. He said, when you wake up in the morning, you have to remind yourself, you may not wake up tomorrow. And when you go to sleep in the night, you have to remind yourself, you may not sleep again. Having these practices daily may help you look at your life and look at those pockets and those times with a lot more gratitude and intention. Epictetus also had the quote, "Keep death and exile before your eyes each day, along with everything else terrible. By doing so, you'll never have a base thought, nor will you have excessive desires." So these were the quotes under Stoicism that formed this principle of Memento Mori as one of their key philosophies under this whole umbrella of Stoicism. I am focusing on Memento Mori under the focal point of Stoicism. But this concept of Memento Mori, this recommendation that you should frequently contemplate that we are mortal beings and we all have an end date, we are all going to die. This concept is not only introduced through Stoicism. This concept you hear across Christianity and their scriptures, how much they talk about the kingdom of heaven, how much they talk about the end of your life, how much they talk about keeping those things in mind, storing up treasures in heaven, etc. You also hear these thoughts in particular literature. You see it depicted in art. You see it also within other religious beliefs, Buddhism. You even hear it within Islam. Everybody shows in some way, shape, or form how recommended it is that you should daily contemplate your death. So this is not just a recommendation under Stoicism, although that's where I got introduced to it from, and that's where I'm introducing you all to it. This concept of Memento Mori, this recommendation of every day you need to think about these things, this goes across cultures, across religions. Yeah? Okay. Why should you implement Memento Mori in your life? One, it helps you refocus into your present moment. We get so caught up. You are thinking about what is going to happen 3 years down the line. But how are you so sure you have 3 years? How are you so sure you're making it today? How are you so sure when you make it today that your life is actually going to look like that? How are you so sure when you make it to 3 more years that everybody in your life right now is going to be in your life? In this world, we often get caught up with the work to do's. Work isn't, we have to survive. Unfortunately, life is set up in a way where you have to provide for yourself, you have to work, you have to do what you have to do, right? We understand that. But what are you doing with your off time? And if next week was your last week, What would you do differently? If this was your last dip in the ocean, would you actually not think about work while you're in the ocean, and you will actually be in there and feel the water and look out and just be in this moment? Frequently remembering that you don't know when is your last moment, and you don't know when anybody else's last moment is, it helps you refocus in this present moment and actually just be present, be aware, pay attention. We are often here physically, but our minds are in the past, our minds are in the future. Very rarely are we actually in our have our focus in this present moment. So Memento Mori helps us refocus into the present a lot more. Memento Mori also helps us pre-prioritize. It helps us figure out what is really important. One, I think it aids a lot to emotional intelligence. It helps you realize how much things that trigger you are actually not that important. If it's not going to matter in 5 days, if it's not going to matter in 5 years, is it really worth the amount of time it's spent in your mind? So I think it helps you reprioritize what is worth emotional reactions and how long you should stay in an emotional reaction. It helps you just kind of be aware as to what is going on and be able to bring yourself back to a calm space. It also helps you connect with others. It helps you prioritize who you need to spend time with, how much your time you need to spend with them. It also helps you make peace with the climate of your relationships. If you have distance with someone and you think about, if today, tomorrow is his last day, last person's day, would I carry any should have, could have, would haves? It helps you make a little bit different. It doesn't mean that every person you have that contemplation with, you will feel a dissonance, because you will be able to sort out the people that you go, you know what? If today, tomorrow something happened, then I'll pray for their soul, but I don't have enough dissonance to bring them back into my life based on their level of unsafety. Or it may put you into perspective as to, you know what we arguing about, really not that important, it really is not worth it. And somebody needs to be the bigger person, and we need to try to reconcile. Yeah. So it helps you prioritize your relationships and how much you invest in them, and who you decide to pour into. Because why are you wasting time with people that don't care about you? Why are you spending your time with people that take you away from things that bring peace to your life and put you in more chaos? It helps you with time management as well. I think it helps us be able to decide what is worth my time, what I should spend my time with. It helps you plan your week in a way that you're intentional, because very quickly we can go from job to job to job to job to job, work day, spend 2 days off or a day off scrolling through our phone, and then we start it all over again. So I think it helps us manage time and spend our time a lot more intentionally, and be a little bit more mindful as to what we do with our pockets outside of working hours. I also think it helps us seek more existential intelligence. Existential intelligence is one of the 9 types of intelligence that Howard Gardner put out there. Yes, there are 9 types of intelligence. There is more intelligence out there than just maths and English. Yeah. Existential intelligence is one of them. Existential intelligence is our ability to contemplate the meaning of life, the purpose of life. So keeping Memento Mori in mind, it helps us stay grounded. It helps us decide, okay, you know what? Am I fulfilling my purpose? What is my purpose? What is the meaning of life? It also helps you take it a little bit more serious as to what is your relationship with God. What is your perspective with God? Are you avoiding God? Are you avoiding religion because of what someone portrayed religion to be? Are you avoiding religion because it kind of shines a light on decisions that you make that you probably know causes harm to people? Are you avoiding God because you think God is just a place of judgment? No one knows what happens when our life ends. No one knows what happens to the soul beyond. Every religion and culture has a different perspective. And there are also the people that believe nothing happens. And we will never really know. But are you living a life that you think you, at the end of it all, are going to look back on and be happy, pleased, fulfilled, no regrets? Yeah? And last reason why I think Memento Mori is very helpful to us. It also helps reduce anxiety. It helps reduce stress. It helps promote, they call it dichotomy of choice, and psychology calls it locus of control. It helps you decipher the things that are in your control and the things that are out of your control. And when you are able to decipher that, it helps you be aware of the things that you are stressing about and trying to control that is actually so far out of your control. So much so that you may be ignoring the things that are actually within your control. It helps us take responsibility for the things that are within our control. It helps us accept this reality that we don't have control over everything, but we do have control over some things. And if we take control over those things, it has a ripple to the external factors as well. Yeah? And the whole concept of anxiety, a lot of it is this, like, your brain is never really in the moment. It's always preparing for danger. It's always analyzing. It's always in the past. It's always in the present. If you are actually in the present moment, you are going to be absent of anxiety. In the present safe moment, you are going to be absent of anxiety, right? You can't be in the present moment in an unsafe environment or unsafe people and not expect anxiety. Anxiety is self-preserving. It's useful and helpful. Just throwing that out there. Yeah? So, main reasons why I think Memento Mori is useful: helps us refocus into our present. It helps us reshuffle our priorities. And it helps us lower anxiety and stress, which we're always looking for in this life. Yeah? Okay. Some recommended sources if y'all want to dive further into Stoicism, because as I said, Memento Mori is one out of like the 8 or 9 main philosophies, right? Amor Fati is another one. That's another term that people often hear about. There are a few others, right? So Memento Mori is just but one of them. So I do recommend you go take a nosedive into Stoicism. And if you want to know where to start, first, Marcus Aurelius' book called Meditations, which is basically all his private journals. Seneca's book called Letters from a Stoic. Epictetus' book called Discourses and Selected Writings. And there's this modern day book called The Daily Stoic from Ryan Holiday and Stefan Hanselman. I hope I pronounced those names right. And that's a book that basically takes you through every day. There's a reading that captures one line or one philosophy or one thing from Stoicism, and for every single day of the year, and you're able to open it, read a little small writing, read a little reflection, close it, and go about your day. So it's nice little pockets of Stoicism. Yeah, and it kind of gives you a little general overview of Stoicism, because I mean, you are actually reading the terms and the lines and the different recommended philosophies, etc. Yeah, so those are the recommended sources. And lastly, like I promised, I want to give you all some tips as to how you can apply Memento Mori to your life. So firstly, I want you to think about this very uncomfortable question. Who is someone that if they pass away tomorrow, you are going to go, oh my gosh, I kept saying that I wanted to see them. I kept saying I wanted to call them. I kept saying I should have messaged them. Who is that person or people? Yeah? I want you to plan to see them. If you can't see them and they don't live in the same country, the Lord granted us devices. As much as it is used to distract us, it could be used to connect us. Video call, just a normal call, If tomorrow they pass, you are going to be upset that you didn't at least call. I know you want to see them in person. I know that's better. But you are going to be happy that you at least called them, heard their voice, touch base with them. Yeah? So first tip is think about those people that you have been meaning to connect with, reach out to, spend time with, and plan it. Plan it in your week, plan it in your month, plan it in your year. Number 2, it's something that I have, as I said, within the past month, I've been deeply contemplative. So I very often have this daily thought of, if this is my last drive home, if this is my last coffee, if this is my last time with my family, if this is my last hug with my husband, if this is my last client, if this is my last, you get the gist, yeah? Applying that concept every day often, it's going to help you kind of wheel it in and refocus and appreciate things around you a little bit more. So as often as you can, asking yourself that question when you're with someone, when you're somewhere, when you're doing something. If this is my last time doing this, being with this person, having this experience, how would I approach it? And approaching it that way. Being intentional and mindful. Mindfulness is our ability to bring our attention into the present moment. We are often in the present moment. Yes, we're here, but our attention is somewhere else. And it will be lovely if we can tell the brain, stop thinking. Be in this present moment right now. It would be lovely if it listened. But oftentimes it doesn't. So what I recommend is putting your attention on things. It's easier to get your mind quiet if you guide its focus to one thing as opposed to expecting it to just stop thinking. Yeah? 2 easy things that you can ground your mind, your attention to, and 2 things that you don't need any particular object. You don't need to be in a particular environment. You don't need a particular recording, nothing. You can do it wherever you are, no matter what you're doing. Focusing on your breath or focusing on your senses. Every second of the day, we are either inhaling and exhaling, but most of the time, we are doing it autopilot, right? That part of our nervous system, that autonomous part of our nervous system, is handling the breathing. You don't need to remember to inhale and remember to exhale. But when we're autopilot, most times, we are breathing very short and shallow. So we're taking very small inhales, especially if you're in an anxious state. Very small inhales that probably just inflating your chest, and very short exhales. We are not breathing deep enough into our nose, into our belly, and actually expanding our lungs properly, because when we only breathe into our chest, we just expand the top. Just a little bit goes. Right? When we breathe into our belly and expand our ribs and our chest and our back, we get full lung capacity. And then we intentionally exhale out that air. We are turning on our vagus nerve. That's another episode that we spoke about. This vagus nerve that helps calm our body, slow our thoughts, calm our body, lower our heart rate, lower our breathing rate, lower our body temperature, all the goodness that helps de-trigger the body. So bringing your attention to your breath often. Tuning into your breath, taking it from a place of autopilot to intentional, mindful breathing. Of course, you can also use breathing techniques, breathing exercises. And senses, you can either look for particular colors in your environment, so looking for 3 things that are red, or going on a walk and looking for things that are yellow, or you can use all 5 senses, where you go, what are 5 things that I can see around me? What are 4 things I can hear? What are 3 things I can feel, sensation, temperature-wise? What are 2 things I can smell? What is 1 thing I can taste? Or another very useful sense that just pulls you back into the moment is your sense of hearing. So no matter how overstimulating your environment may be, tuning in and picking apart all the sounds. You're hearing people in the background. I hear birds. I hear the fan. I hear the breeze rushing through my ear. Right? So tuning into the sounds. So your breath and your senses are always with you. You can always access the sense of sight and hear and all the other. And you can also always access your breath. You don't need to be in a yoga class. You don't need to be in a guided meditation. You don't need a recording. You don't need a particular item. You can do these things no matter where you are. And also, it's a practice that is not noticed by other people. If I tell you to do a balance on one foot, that also helps quiet your mind. But you can't stand up any people and them staff meeting and balance on one foot. But you can sit, tune into your breath, and do a couple mindful breaths, inhales and exhales. Or you can look around your room and find a couple things. You can pick apart the sounds that you're hearing. Yeah? And no one knows that you're doing a mindful moment. And last tip, daily gratitude practice. Every single day, what I do, I try to do it. I think I've lapsed. Now that I think about it, I think I've gone a few days without doing it, like 2 days. Interesting. But for a long time, I was doing this daily where I have 10 fingers, thank you, Lord, and I list something I'm grateful for each finger. At some point in the day, I don't have a structured time. I don't always do it in the morning and I don't always do it in the night. But throughout my day, at some point, I will list 10 things I'm grateful for. You can also do it listing it out in your journal. You can just list out 3 things you're grateful for every single day. Just having those pockets, because at any point in time of your life, there's stress. But at any point in time, there's also a lot to be grateful for. Yeah? And oftentimes we only realize that when we're around people that aren't as privileged or lucky to have 2 legs like us. So all of a sudden we remember it. And someone that can't see, all of a sudden we remember it. So frequent daily practices of gratitude help us focus and be present on the blessings that we have in our life every day. And again, helps us apply this Memento Mori, that as much as there's a lot to complain about in life, there's also a lot to be grateful for. And gratitude practices on its own has a different nice experience in your brain and all the good chemicals and happy hormones that go off that help maintain happy moods as well. Yeah? So those are my tips. So on that note, I always ask you at the end of these episodes to list 3 things that you're grateful for. 3 things at all. So any 3 things that you would like to give gratitude for, let's list them. You can list your 3 first, and I will list my 3 in a couple seconds when you're finished. Trying to read your mind. I am grateful for the rain. Today it's raining. I am grateful for my phone that's acting like a mic and working so lovely. And 3, I am grateful for the people that made this lovely matcha that I'm making. It's a nice local page. If you want to know, let me know. We're really good. Okay. Now I'm going to put up journal prompts. So these journal prompts are recommendations, home assignments that you all could work on. Just little things that you all could journal or reflect on, stuff that you can just take whatever you've learned in this episode and apply them and introspect a little bit. So I'm going to put those up now. And as promised, we are going to do our little mindful moment now. So if you are busy, if you are driving, if you are in an environment that is not safe enough for you to not be attentive and aware of your surroundings, please pause this podcast and come back to it when you have an available moment. If you are available, you are safe, and you can afford to just tune into yourself a little bit, let's do this together. First, let's start with a little body scan. So if you can bring yourself upright, seated, as upright as possible. If you want to fold your legs, you want to put your legs down, completely up to you. Bringing your attention to the soles of your feet. If you want to keep your eyes open, you're welcome to keep your eyes open, but I highly recommend you close your eyes. Our sense of sight is very stimulating and distracting. So when we close our eyes, a lot of attention is put within. Yeah? So I encourage you to close your eyes. Bring your attention to the soles of your feet. See if you feel any tingles underneath your feet, in your toes. Allow your feet to relax in your shoes or on the floor. Allow your ankles to release. Allow your calves and shins to release. Your knees, let go of any tension. Thighs, hamstrings, release. Glute muscles melt into your chair or floor. Lower back releases, inner thighs release. Your belly goes limp, letting it just inflate and deflate with your inhales and exhales. No tension in your belly and your core. Mid-back muscles release. Upper back muscles release. Let your shoulder blades melt into your back. Your shoulders falls away from your ears. Arms go heavy. Forearms release. Feel any tingles in your fingertips and your hands. Release the muscles behind your neck, front of your neck. Release your throat muscles. Release your bottom jaw away from your top jaw. Let it fall. Let your tongue rest in your bottom jaw and the tip of your tongue touching the back of your teeth. Allow your muscles of your cheeks to release. Let your eyeballs fall into their sockets. Let your eyelids be relaxed. Eyebrows release. Forehead releases any tension. Muscles on your scalp releases. Allow yourself to sit in this moment with a relaxed body. So much happens around us and we don't even notice how much our body responds and tenses accordingly. So allowing your body to just sit here without any tension, noticing if any tension has crept back up in your shoulder, in your jaw, in your thighs, in your feet, in your hands, and allow it to melt away. We're going to do a couple intentional inhales and exhales. If you've ever heard about a 3-part breathing, we're going to do a 4-part breathing. It's going to be an inhale into your nose and an exhale out of your mouth. When you inhale into your nose, you're going to guide the air into your belly first, and then your ribs open, and then your chest raises, and then your back pushes out. So it's not going to be an inhale that sounds like. It's a continuous inhale. We are just opening the 4 parts of our body piece by piece to help our lungs get its full expansion. After that 4-part inhale, we're going to exhale through our mouth. We're going to extend our exhale. Our exhale is going to be longer than our inhales. So we're going to extend that exhale, exhaling from our upper body first, dropping our chest, our back, our ribs. And then lastly, we're going to pull our belly button towards our spine, bringing our belly into our back. So inhales again, our inhales are going to go through our nose into our belly. Nice big belly inflates. Then ribs, and then chest, and then back. And then exhales, we melt our body and exhale through our mouth as long and extended as we can go. We're going to do about 3 or 4 rounds of this. Yeah? Exhale wherever you are. Inhale into your nose, into your belly, your ribs, your chest, your back. Release any tension your body got. Exhale through your mouth. Chest drops, ribs. Tummy pulls in, long exhale, exhale, exhale. Let's go again. Inhale into your nose, into your belly, into your ribs, into your chest, into your back. Long exhale out your mouth, melting any tension. Long exhale, 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 exhale. Let's go again. Inhale through your nose, into your belly, ribs, chest, and back. Long exhale through your mouth, extended exhale. 2 more. Inhale through your nose into your belly, ribs, chest, and back. Long exhale through your mouth, belly button into spine. And last one, make it count. Inhale through your nose, into your belly, into your ribs, to your chest, into your back. And long exhale, extend it as long as you can. Return to normal breathing. Allowing yourself to sit in this moment and notice the shift that happened within you. The thing that you could control, you, your body, your mind. And when you are ready, gently flutter your eyes open. It is lovely to have you all here yet again for another episode. I hope you learned something. I hope that you take Memento Mori into your everyday life, and I hope it helps you reshape your time, reshape how you spend your time, reshape who you spend your time with. Maybe even contemplate if you feel like what you're doing is fulfilling your purpose, and spending more time trying to figure that out than just distracting ourselves with the easy accessible entertainment that we have nowadays that is meant to keep us distracted and away from true purpose, true connection, really making use of this short but meaningful human life. Yeah? I hope you'll have a lovely rest of your day or night whenever you watch this podcast. I hope you have a good rest of your balance of time. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode. Sending peace, sending love, sending more awareness. And I will see you all here soon again. Bye, everyone.